I'm just going to bring him up, and his name is Steve Espinoza. And Steve, come on up.
Awesome. Thanks.
So Steve, now
I'm just gonna stand. Is that cool?
Stand,
sure.
All
right. Yeah.
The story, you graduated early from high school.
Yeah.
What age?
16.
Okay. So is that because you got kicked out or because you wanted out?
I just wanted out. I was like, I just got my fake ID business off the ground. It's not a joke. Like,
Really?
I swear to God. Got my fake ID business off the ground. I was selling fake schedules to kids to get early release. So I was photoshopping those to kids.
Remit passes?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Because you used to have to hide in the trunk. I'm like, no, bro, I got it. Like, here. What days do you want out early? A days, B days. So I did that. I went and I got recruited from Yahoo when I was 16 years old to kind of go up there, work on Yahoo Maps back when that was a big deal. Right now it's like no one even cares about that anymore.
So what year was that?
2003.
So 2003. How did they even find you?
I was blogging, bro. Like back when it was that's what nerds, you know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, that guy's a blog. Oh, everybody has a blog.
Right.
You know, everybody's sitting over here. Somebody earlier, they're like, well, I have this newsletter and I have this newsletter, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, everyone has a fucking newsletter. You know, right? I don't have a blog or a newsletter anymore. Like I'm just doing my thing. And so I had a blog before it was cool. Like I was this nerdy kid that liked to do this stuff on the side, but I was such a jock, right? So it's I didn't have anything to no outlet for it, right? Like I was on the golf team, on the football team, on the baseball team. Sports was my whole life, and then on the side I kind of did these nerdy things. I ended up writing about it, blogging about it, about marketing and all this kind of stuff. And someone just gives me a call. I was like, hey, we'd like you to come up if you want. And I'm like, sure. Let's do it. It's went up there, got a 6-month intern.
Where's up there?
Palo Alto.
They're in Palo Alto.
Yeah, so I graduated early, tested out of my classes. I was like, F school, I don't want to do school. Did that, went up there for 6 months, and it was kind of just bullshit work. You know what I mean? I literally had 3 jobs in my life, right? One was Yahoo, one was Google, and one was Carl's Jr. Yeah, literally Carl's Jr., Yahoo, and Google. I've had 3 jobs in my life, and I just I'll tell you vehemently I hate jobs, right? I hate jobs. I hate working for people. I'm that dude that's hard to work with. I need to do it my way. And so I did that for a while.
So you're at Yahoo for how long? 6 months?
6 months, 7 months. I was kind of getting homesick too. It's kind of cool when you think about it when you're 16.
So you had to live up there?
Yeah, go live up there.
Gotcha.
Doing my thing. I kind of miss home. I grew up in Marietta. Want to come back. I do that. I join a startup where I got 5%, and they ended up selling for $7 million. I'm like, oh, cool. Got some money. Right, I'm going to do the best thing ever, which is buy a fucking house in 2007. Right? That was welcome to adulthood. You get this. And I'm like, no one told me. All these people way older than me are yeah, bro, that happens. I'm like, no. Right? So I started my first business. I blame half the people in this room, by the way. I started my first business called BuzzSpot. We synced online search ads on Google with TV ad spots. Google used to have Google used to sell TV ads for Dish Network as a little known thing that they did. They sold remnant inventory, and so we would sync them up when your TV ad ran, your search ad would run. No one ever did that before. Ended up building that up to $50,000 a month, and I sold that for about $400,000 5 months later. Did a little while at that company because contractually you have to do that, right?
And you're how old at that time?
21?
21.
Yeah, 21. 28 now, so I'm feeling it, guys. I'm getting there.
Yeah. I tell you.
You feel it. Jeez.
So I did that. I then started doing consulting, just marketing consulting. Early on, I knew I just knew how to get customers. That's still my deal. I know how to grow revenue in businesses and get them up very, very fast.
Online or offline?
Online, that's my jam.
Gotcha.
You need customers, I'm the dude, right? And so I was doing that. Started a company called Backyard. doing nail salons, ladies. I flew to the Philippines, set up a call center there, and I had a bunch of Filipinos call every nail salon in the United States. And they literally called every nail salon, and then now I was the only dude who knew where the cheapest nail salon was. No one else knew where that was until now. So I was like the kayak for nail services. And women love nails, bro.
Yeah.
The women love them. Yeah, all the women. So like wherever you are, I'll tell you where like the best 5-star nail salon is, right? And so you
That was
were
a website.
yeah, a website called Backyard. My first investor in that was Eric Schmidt. He was the CEO of Google, right? And so I remember the days like trying to raise money from all these dudes. Everyone's like, no, 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 and he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh.
How did he even find out about you or that program?
Me just hustling. I was on Twitter back when it was like super nerdy to be on Twitter. Like kind of weird. Like, why are you on Twitter, bro? You don't tell people that, right? Back then. And so I made a list. I literally made a list of like 10 people that are like, these dudes are gonna know my name. Like these dudes are gonna know my name. And they're a bunch of investors. And I would tweet at them, you know, a couple times a week, just like, hey, like I'll do this for you, or hey, I noticed this about your site that sucks. Like that's what I would say, right? And like I can help you make more money. And these dudes are already like making money. You know what I mean?
That was the Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People, right?
Yeah, that's my way. And so it's like
sucks.
literally one guy, Jason Calacanis, he basically started blogging. Like he sold Weblogs Inc. to AOL. Like so all the popular blogs and stuff are based upon his model. He sold it like 20 million. Mark Cuban was an investor. So Mark Cuban made a lot of his money. And so I tweeted him one time because he was coming out of a Lakers game, and he's like, hey, who wants to take me to another Lakers game? You know, this dude just got free tickets. I'm like, I'll take you to a Lakers game. And he writes me back. Right, I'm just like 23 at the time. He's just like, where are your tickets? Fuck. So I go to StubHub. I'm sorry, if you guys don't like cussing, like, I apologize. This is not the night for you.
We're good.
And so I go on StubHub and I find the best tickets I can buy, right? And I'm just like, spend 10 grand on tickets. Boom. And I'm like, these are my tickets, bro. And I'm like, oh, I hope he says yes. Literally just responds, meet me at the Magic statue at 7 before the game. That's it. That's it. I'm just like, this is my time, right? This is my time. I literally went and I studied the dude's website hours. And I had a full list of one-liners in my head of how I can make this guy more money. And that was it. I'm like, how can I make you so? I get there, meet him. Dude's shorter than me, so I'm already kind of stoked. Like I'm not intimidated as much, right? I'm like, okay, you're right here, bro. Like, all right. So we go. The guys know the feeling. You show up and there's a dude right here. You're like, all right. And so I go and I have 2.5 hours at a basketball playoff game with this guy. And I just slowly work in, here's how I can make you more money, here's how I can make more money. And not kind of cold, which is kind of understandable. And some random guy took him to a playoff game, right? And at the very end of it, he goes, yeah. He goes, show up at my office tomorrow, buddy. I'm like, all right, cool. And so showed up at his office in Santa Monica. I don't know if you guys know, a lot of traffic going to Santa Monica from Temecula, right? Or Murrieta. Yeah. So I did that for 9 months, not asking for a dime from this dude. No, once a week.
Once a week? Wow.
Yeah, once a week, going there, not asking for anything, just like, I'm going to help you out. One day he just calls me up, he goes, oh, you know that project that you're working on? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm going to fly you up, you're going to meet some of my friends. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Right? Like, go up there, and like, he starts sending me the address, right? And he does this, like, rich people have this like weird thing where they think everyone kind of has the same money as them. They're like, oh, it's not that bad, bro. It's just an $800 flight, $900 flight, right? And so you're just like, yeah, be in San Francisco tomorrow. Figure it out, right? So I Zillow the address. It's like some $15 million house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Because I want to be prepared. I want to know who I'm seeing, all this kind of stuff. So I go there, and there's just like all these dudes, like founder of PayPal, right there, right? Eric Schmidt, right there. Wow. And they're just like, all right, Steve, what you got for us? And I'm just like, fuck, right? And there's these 2 other dudes that they asked. Like, I didn't know. So you automatically feel like this is like the gauntlet, right? And I'm the last one to go. And these guys go up there, and they're straight up just like, yeah, I just graduated my doctorates from MIT. I was like, fuck. I go up there, I'm like, I'm the fattest dude here, right? You guys are all super fit. And I literally said, I'm like, I graduated from Marietta Valley, right? And everybody's like laughing, right? And so they were just like, and I told him, and like, by the way, I have all these tattoos, but I'm gonna pitch you nail salons right now. Like, everything kind of made sense. Like the other guy was like, got my doctorates in machine learning, so I made this analytics platform. I'm like, bro, nails. Nails is gonna make you money. So they're like going. So he ends up saying, yeah, I'll give you 50 grand. 6 months later, the company got bought for $4 million. He made like 10x his money in like 3 months. And like, you are someone's best friend when you do that, right?
He's 11.
Yeah. So I sell that company. Had to contractually do that for another 18 months. Started another company called AppStack. This time. He invests, Google invests, and it's like so weird. It's like I scraped and did all this hard work to raise. I ended up raising 60 grand, right? 50,000 from Eric and 10,000 from Jason. And the next time I did it, I literally raised $500,000 in phone calls with like no product built. Like I was just like, this is my idea, and now they'll listen to me, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, yeah, go ahead and wire the money. I'm like, okay, bomb. So I did that for a couple years. Basically what we did is we automated mobile ads, right when mobile ads were starting to get big, and mobile websites for small businesses. Did that, got that company up to about, a couple $1 million a year in revenue. That company ended up selling to a Quizio company in Canada. After that, I got recruited to run small business global revenue at Google. Small business global revenue. So any business that spends under $1 million at Google, to them is like small business to them.
Okay.
Right? So like Victoria's Secret is in that category. So I'm running like this global thing, having to like manage 67 employees that like are all like, I know it's kind of stereotypical, but it's kind of fucking weird managing like all these people older than you. Yeah. When like I'm coming in, they're like all from Stanford. They have like all these badass things, and I'm like, that's cool. Like you follow through on shit, right? Like, I have a lot of ADD. Like I switch ideas all the time, and these guys are just like going at it, and it's so I was a little fish out of water there, where like everyone just took everything so seriously, right? Like
you were how old then?
26.
26.
By that time it's coming around. Yeah. And so everyone just, it wasn't for me. I mean, it was cool. They tried to like throw like all these like luxury things like we were talking about earlier. Like they flew me on private planes, so I didn't have to move. Like I got to live down here, and 3 times a week they'd fly me on a private plane back and forth.
They just send a plane for you, and then
Yeah. I just walk on the plane. That's cool like the first couple times, but then you're just like, fuck, right? Yeah, it's. I know, like poor first world problems, but bro, flying is not that fun after the 7th time, right? And so you're dealing with that, and then like, it was cool for a bit. It was cool. Like I was just like, it wasn't me.
So what would it be like? I mean, you get on a plane, you fly up there. What would you do? You'd be up there how long?
I'd be up there for like 10 hours.
Okay.
10 hours. I would, I'd check, like, we'd work with the product team, what were the new YouTube ads coming out. They talked to me about, like, what do consumers want? Because I had an interesting place where I knew how to onboard small businesses, and I knew how small businesses wanted to think and how they wanted to make ad buys. Because everyone here is, like, still, you guys are all terrified of, like, marketing and wasting money on marketing, right? Like, you don't, like, someone came to you and was like, hey, give me $5 grand for marketing, and you'd be like, whoa, bro. Is this going to work, right? And it's almost like a lifetime decision for you guys. You guys spend $5 grand on crazier stuff, but when it's like marketing, so businesses, they really need to be coddled and educated in the right way that they'll take that information in. On the other end of it, we had to look at how do consumers interact with ad units, right? And that's something I became very, very like, well, basically knowledgeable in. It's how do they interact with that. So I'd go through that. I'd bounce between teams. I'd launch teams. I've launched teams in India. I launched teams in Latin America, stuff like that. And basically grew. I had like a $4 million P&L I had to manage. And we use that and then grow the book of businesses and stuff like that. Just kind of like, if you grew the book 5%, like you're the dude.
You're good, huh?
You know what I mean? You're just like a worker bee. So I did that. I left.
So you were there how long?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
And that was plenty.
Yeah, bro, that was it.
You got your fill.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing was, like, all those, like, who likes, like, those mint waters? Like those, what I'm talking about?
Mint
The
water.
flavored waters?
Oh, yeah.
don't get out of here. There's a bunch of girls in here. I see you guys drinking them all the time. You know what I'm talking about? All the third floor. So it's like what you do if you're working on the third floor, you go to the second floor right before you got on the plane, and you just take all of them, right? Because they're like all like $2 each. They're $2 each.
Right.
You take all of them because that's what everybody does. Like they can go to some other kid. You know what I mean? I'm taking these, bro. So it was cool. Like you got to take as much food, do whatever you wanted. They had like all these crazy things like nap pods and massages, and like they had this golf machine there where you can work on your golf swing at lunch. Like it's all really cool, but like at the end of the day, like I wasn't building my thing. I'm making some other dude rich. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm working for the man, right? And so I left. I made some apps for kids with autism. I just noticed, like, I had a couple nephews with autism, and like it was like the tools that they had, like, was just shit, right? And because when business owners don't think there's an area that you can make money in, it's really hard to get like a lot of development in those areas, right? Things get left behind. Businesses get left behind, especially whole industries. Autism is one of those industries. So I started like a Netflix subscription. I built like 100 apps to help with different things. Like, here's an app to help you with, getting in line at school. Here's an app to help you with learning how to talk to others.
App for each one.
Exactly.
Wow.
So made kind of like this Netflix portfolio. Put on about 2,000 customers paying me $30 a month, right? And I was like, peace.
Yeah.
That was it. And then so I have that business going right now. I'm really into sports, super like sports nut. So I started a sports app company. I have another company that's doing probably around like 60, 70 grand a month now. And a team of 3, right? We're doing that. So I have 2 businesses right now, just selling apps to special needs kids and sports nuts. I'm probably doing, about $110,000, $115,000 a month. And I'm just like golfing, man. Golfing. I'm like living it up right now.
What's your handicap in golf right now?
Oh, it's so bad, bro. It's like I used to be really good. I have like
It used to be a 1 handicap.
Wow.
So
I'm probably like 8 or 9 right now.
8 or
like
9.
yeah.
That's really bad. 8 or 9.
You know how it is, right? When you used to be good at something,
Yeah, when you're good
you're just
at
like, I'm shit now. Like I don't want to do this. Like you want to quit half the time.
Start practicing more.
Yeah.
Well, you're playing what, 3 or 4 times a week?
3 or 4 times a week.
So what brought you back to Marietta? I mean
I grew up there.
fans
I grew up there.
Friends, family, all that, or?
Yeah, I just had my best friend. Met him when I was in 5th grade. We do all my businesses together. Like that's it. Like I don't know. My best friend's Taylor. He's my dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's my
You spend a lot
boy.
of time together?
Yeah, every day together. We've been
Play
through.
golf 3 or 4 times a week? Does he
100%.
must play golf then?
Plays golf.
Well, gotta play golf.
Yeah. I'm a super like family dude. I like my friends. I like my family.
5 kids?
5 kids. Yeah.
5 kids.
5 crazy kids along the way. Yeah. That are all like, no one warned you that like they're really mini personality. They're mini psychos. Right? Like you have to make sure they just don't kill themselves for the first 5 years. And so it's like,
Kill themselves with each other.
yeah, they're just like, well, what'd you do when she said no? Well, I hit her in the face, of course. You're like, no, you don't do that to your sister, right? Like these things that you never thought you'd have to explain to someone. But yeah, so I mean, that's it. I'm kind of just like doing that, doing the sports thing, doing the special needs thing. We're gonna launch another thing for people buying their first homes. That's kind of like the next app that we're gonna do. Where we have a goal of getting that to like 60 grand here a month in the next like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
So just like building apps.
To the end user?
Yeah, we're building. We acquired the domain starterhome.com, and basically like it's really even my friends with money like they can totally buy a house. There's just like adult lessons that like no one explains to you, right? I'm like, well, bro, did you check the FHA limits? He's like, well, what's that? I'm like, well, it's this, and it's like varies by county, and like all this stuff I know because I have like a real estate portfolio now, right? That like a lot of people don't know, and I feel like young kids like they need to get into their homes, and once they understand like how important like owning your first home is, they start understanding how important everything that goes into the equation to owning a home is, right?
Credit.
Exact credit, yeah. You should have. There's no high school class on credit. Right? And there's no high school class on like you can only have 1 FHA loan at a time. And you can do streamlines and all this kind of stuff that like should be very easily explained to someone isn't happening. And so we're working on that right now. And that's basically it. Like what's driven my career is just I've been really good at just getting customers, right? I'm just really good at marketing.
Which is one of the number one challenges that any business.
Yeah, that's why it's like I don't care. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll do nails because I can get customers. I'll do autism because I can get customers. I'll do sports because I can get customers. I'm like, I'm not really scared to venture into any business opportunities that come up
So
because
no industry or product or anything.
Yeah.
Really that
I'm a money guy, man.
Okay.
So it's like where I see money, like I'll go.
Okay. So what? So what's next for you? I mean, what do you want to? What's the ambition now?
I don't know, more.
More.
Yeah, I know it sounds like
Okay.
stupid and like a douchebag answer, but it's just like
More.
it's you just want to do more. It's like I want to push myself, right? Like right now I dig it. Like my kids are all living a good life, and I have good problems, right? It's like I have 2 offices and too many employees, but it's like could be worse. So it's like, I just want to keep pushing it and seeing where I go. And
Wow. So let's talk about the Chicago White Sox.
yeah.
That came up at the table, and I thought that was a really interesting story, considering who was sitting at our table as well.
Yeah.
So big fan of the White Sox. Big fan of the Bulls as well. So tell us about what got you excited about the White Sox and what you've done that has really earned you the opportunity to spend time around.
Yeah, so like growing up, like I wanted to be a baseball player. That was my dream. Like I'm going to be a baseball player. I don't know. I'm sad to tell you guys it did not work out. And so once I started making some money off these companies, I was like, I still watch every single game. I watch every single game. My boys watch every single game with me.
Why White Sox?
So my dad was in jail when I was a kid, and it literally was like, I love sports, and so I picked the first team that they gave me at T-ball, and that was the White Sox. I didn't have an outside male influence. So literally my whole entire family is Yankees fans. Right? And it's like me when my dad was gone, I was just like, yeah, White Sox. Sure, number 1. Right? And that was kind of it. And so now I'm like a White Sox fan, and they basically, after I sold the companies, I started donating to charities and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to donate to a charity, it's going to be the White Sox charity. Right? That makes sense. And so once you start doing that, they start introducing you to coaches and stuff like that. And I'm a super, I'll talk to anybody. I'll be best friends with anybody. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're my best friend today. Let's go hang out. And now it's it's super stoked that business is affording me, every year I take batting practice with the team. You know what I mean? The coaches know me.
In spring training or in?
No, during the season.
Wow.
During the season, go there. When they come to town, the coaches point out my sons, right? And they bring them on the field and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Once I got past this altruistic view, you know what? My ideal, what I'd like is I'd like to just be a sports writer. You know what I mean? And make money off that. That's not going to happen. That's not my strength. So it's what my strength is business, and I can leverage business to help me afford to do the things that I want to do elsewhere, which is take batting practice. And you know what? I talked to the coaches, and one of the coaches' sons came and lived with me for a summer because we became close friends. And it's we text them now. We text back and forth, and we're going golfing again later this month. And so it's afforded me the relationships that as a child I dreamed of.
Yeah.
Right? Going and hitting a baseball on their at the stadium.
Right.
Playing with the coaches, knowing them all, going in the locker rooms. You know what I mean? All this kind of stuff is super dope. And it's I just think if you want to meet someone and you want to do something, there's a way to get it. There's a way to do it. You just have to just fucking do it. Right? And if it takes $10,000 to donate to a charity, you figure out how to make 10 grand. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out and then you'll do it. And that's just kind of been my philosophy the whole time is if you're confident in yourself, you can make the money back.
Yeah. A cool thing, we're sitting here at the table and he mentions White Sox, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and we're talking, and then all of a sudden, Brian, right? Brian says, oh, my uncle is the vice president of operation or vice president of the White Sox.
Yeah.
And, what are the, like Kim said, it's not the odds, it's just the way it is. But pretty cool, and so you knew
him right away. Yeah. I met him. I've golfed with him. It's kind of trippy when you end up meeting all these people.
But wait,
yeah.
Where's he from? Indiana. So just how odd that he's here.
Indiana. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. The fact that he's even in town this week and
Burn the gas.
Yeah.
Yes, that's really really cool. So what was probably the greatest had the greatest influence on you in your life?
My grandfather. I'm like a super like cut from his cloth type dude. Super codependent. You know what I mean? So I have this like natural drive that I feel I have to save the world for everybody, right? Like, and that's not a good thing, by the way, right? It's like all my siblings, I feel I have to be a father figure to them and help them go. And so it's like when you kind of have those like negative things about your life, you can learn to harness them. And like, so it's like I took my drive to provide for my family, provide for my mom, provide for my siblings, and like take that and use that as motivation, right? Because I feel like a lot of people spend too much time trying to think of what they're shitty at, and they're like, well, I gotta fix that. It's like, no, fuck that. Like, just focus on what you're good on, right? And like, go and do that. Do what you're great at, right? It'd be like me being like, I'm gonna actually be a marathon runner now. So you'd be like, no, you're crazy, right? Like, you're crazy. It's like, do what you're good at. Do what you're good at. And so it's like, I feel like my grandfather, he was a businessman. He was just like me, took care of his family maybe more than he should have. And it's just kind of like one of those things that you notice when you're growing up. You notice like your grandfather being loving. You notice your grandfather like having that leadership, right? And you almost have like, you definitely like, my family definitely has this kind of like patriarch of the family, right? I've always looked up to that. And so it's kind of like, that's kind of the driving thing. It's like, I have houses and like I have a house for each one of my kids, right? And for each one of them, like when you graduate college, like you get a house, right? And it's like, I want my kids to like appreciate that and feel that. And I want them to have all these things in my life. And that's what drives me, right? And I get that from my grandfather.
What's the greatest lesson that he taught you?
You all right, bro? Greatest lesson. Don't spend your money, right? And I've learned, and that's kind of how I got into real estate. You quickly realize, no matter how disciplined you are, unless like you're one of the real, like whatever money you have, you're gonna spend it eventually, even if it's little by little by little, right? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's just a little bit here. So it's like I made myself like go into like real estate. Like it's harder for me to be like, yeah, well, let me just sell this house real quick and then I'm gonna buy the Ferrari, right? It's just kind of like stupid, right? But it's like once I started learning like the value of money, right? Because it's a very, very tough lesson to learn. When like at a young age, it's very easy for me to make money. Right? It was very easy for me just to be like, yeah, get a couple grand. I'm like 16 years old, right? At the internship, I was making 80 grand. 16. Right? What am I making 80 grand?
Making 80 grand.
Yeah, nothing. Stupid stuff. Not saving it. Right. And so I think like once like you learn to value money, right, and be purposeful with it and make purposeful decisions, like, yeah.
I'm gonna open it up for questions. Anybody have any questions?
How's your relationship with your dad now?
I don't really talk to my dad. Yeah, it's funny because I had a conversation with him last month. I'm just like, bro, I don't really want to have, like I'm just like, I'll talk to you. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things that took me a long time just to realize like, he's not going to be that dude in my life. And if I keep trying to set myself up for him to like eventually be that dad that I want, I'm just going to keep getting pissed when he doesn't show up to the Little League games for my sons. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, he's been doing this for 28 years. Like, get the fuck, I'm telling myself, get the fuck over it. Like, he's not that guy. Like, God gave you a different guy, and it's your grandpa. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's really just my grandpa. Like, my dad, I talked to him today when I was getting my car washed. Talked to him 5 minutes. How you doing? All right, I'll see you maybe in a month or so, but nothing crazy.
Where does he live?
San Diego.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Who else? Yeah.
Ask him about public service.
Oh, public service. What am I gonna ask?
For this year?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be a fucking mayor, by the way. I will be. Marietta.
All right.
Yeah. That's kind of one of my other goals. Is like I want to be able to tell my kids, like, yeah, your dad was a mayor too one time. So I'm gonna be running for city council. We talked about this on the way here. I don't know. Like I dissect things. So it's like weird. It only takes 6,000 votes to get to the city council, right? And it's like. I could convince 6,000 people to vote for me. Like that's how I think about it. Like I could spend enough in Facebook marketing and target the exact voters that are going to vote, and like I'll overwhelm your door-to-door flyer strategy. You know what I mean? Like, they will see me every day.
I just want to go back on that. That's really cool. I mean, just that concept. I mean, just to be able to think that way.
That's what I think. I looked it up. I'm like, how many votes does it take? 6,000, right?
He said on the way here, how hard is this?
Yeah. But the cool thing is what he said was where everyone else is just blanket marketing everybody, you're talking about targeting the people that you know will vote.
Yeah,
Why waste your time and money on people who aren't going to vote?
I just know how to
target the people.
Yeah, I'm just really good at reading the demographics of consumers, right? So it's like I started my sports app company on October 17th, right? And we're doing $60,000 a month. There's 3 people, right? I'm making $40,000 a month profit. It goes in my pocket. Because like I just know how to target business owners who are sports fans that want to sponsor this, right? Because like who's your favorite sports team? Angels, right? So if you had an Angels app that you already downloaded that you loved, and I was like, bro, you can advertise your YouTube videos in here, and only to other Angels fans, you'd be like, fuck yeah, right? And so it's just thinking about like what is going to drive you to make an emotional decision. Right? And once I know what's going to drive you to make an emotional decision, everybody has emotional decisions, right? And then it's finding those people and getting your message in front of them. Like, that's all marketing is. And then once you figure that out, like, you learn a trick, and then you just keep doing it, right? Like, everyone here in this room's learned a trick, right? And they keep doing that trick over and over. My trick is just, like, getting people to buy things that I want them to buy.
Wow. Who else? Yeah, Mike.
Okay, does the fact that you don't look like your typical multimillionaire, like, throw people off?
Yeah, totally. I came and throwing everybody off in this room right here. Right?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I somehow managed.
Steve, can I tell him? So the first time we did a workshop with him, I put his headshot which is him like dunking a basketball, and you can see all his tattoos. And my boss said, "No way, take that off. We're not using it."
Really?
And I said, "But that's an entrepreneur." So he took it, marched into the city manager's office, and the city manager said, "Kimberly's right. That's an entrepreneur."
Wow.
But they have a hard time.
Yeah.
They have a hard time with that. He doesn't look like your typical.
Right.
Yeah.
But we love that. We love that about him.
Yeah, and she told me that was one of the things that she told me right away. He's all tatted up, and I'm like, my son does tattoos. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, it gets in the way sometimes. At Google more than anything, right? Because everyone there is like a little resentful, right? And Google's so bad because everyone has a Stanford MBA. Everyone has a Harvard MBA. So everyone's like the top of top guy. So it's like the kind of egos that you imagine you'd be dealing with like on an NBA team, right? Everybody was the top guy there. Yeah. Everyone's the top here, right? And it's like, and I'm just some dude coming in like, hey, I'm Steve. I don't know what you just said right now, but that's bullshit. And this is what we're gonna do, right? It is like, and so it gets in the way sometimes, but.
What was the number one thing you learned at Google?
Just like the scale, like how powerful scale can be, right? Like every single one of my businesses from now on, without a doubt, it's going to be a recurring revenue business, right? And like recurring revenue businesses that can scale, like, you know what? Brushback's my sports app, and I'll use this example.
Brushback?
Brushback. It was a hard fucking road to hoe from October to January. That was like, I was working, hiring people, getting leads in, running marketing campaigns, managing the apps, upgrading the apps, like doing all that kind of stuff. But you know what I do now? Nothing. Because I have all the advertisers I want. And they pay every month. And I don't have to do anything. And I have 2,000 advertisers, and I have 5% churn, right? So I need to add 100 customers a month, 21 business days in a month. So I need to add maybe five a day. So I have one person that does it. I have one person that makes sure my customer base never gets lower than it was the previous month, right? And that's how I dissect things, just like I dissect the votes. Right. Oh, 6,000, like I can convince them. I probably need to get in front of 24 to get the 6 that are actually going to vote, right? And it's cost me $10 on Facebook to get in front of 1,000 people, right? And you just do the math, and it's like I told her, I'm like, I think I could win this election by investing 10 grand. Like I'm 90% certain that that's what's going to happen.
That's pretty cool. What was your number one takeaway from Yahoo? Being at 16.
I didn't want to do shit work. Right? Like I was not.
You learned what you didn't want to do.
Yeah, I did. When people tell me to do stuff that I don't want to do, I'm like, no. And I'm just like a punk like that a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I was a hard student to deal with. You know, like I'm just a little like, a little anti-authority a little bit, and you know, with all the tattoos and stuff. Like I realize that about myself. Like I'm kind of just like a little punk when it comes to that. So I just realized very, very young, like I was not going to make the money I wanted to make by like listening to other people, because I just want to be motivated.
How are you going to deal with that garbage being in politics, where everybody's got their own opinion and you have to kind of listen to them and act like you care?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just foolish enough to think I can, you know, figure something out, right? I mean, that's really it. Like,
Well, Kim, you're with the city of Murrieta, and you've been there for 7 years now, right? And you know Steve. I mean, so maybe what are your thoughts? Can he do it?
I'm hoping he gets me a raise. Well, my thoughts on what? On the council? On him being
Yeah, I
on the
mean,
council?
on that situation, how would he be able to deal with that?
Well, I don't know, because there is a lot to deal with sometimes. But, you know, I think that for any kind of elected office, if you're the type of person that can just take information in and look at things from all sides and give an answer based on the common good, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But you probably get attacked from all sides anyways because you're out there.
Right.
So I mean, it's really not anything different, you know. So one of our mayors once told me, if you're doing what you love and you're passionate about that and you're out in front of people, if 8 people aren't pissed off at you and trying to kill you, you're not doing enough. So if you guys are out there doing that every day, it's probably the case for everyone anyway.
Yeah. You know, just some background on Kim. Kim had a marketing company before she was with the city in Temecula, and I had my next level training center there, success center there, and she's the one that created my logo called Next Level for Success with the little guy stepping out of the box. She's actually the one that created that, and we've been friends since then. So I'm very grateful for her friendship.
what's everyone do here? Like, what's everybody? Real estate. Raise your hand. All right. Well,
3.
that's a lot of other options, bro. Who owns their own? Everyone own their own companies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys use Facebook marketing at all? Yeah? How's that working for you guys? Kind of iffy? No? More.
For my clients and for myself too.
All right.
Yeah,
What?
marketing company.
Why is it iffy for you guys?
I think it has to do more with the client to get them to invest the money, and if they do, it's just like
Yeah, because you're scared.
Yeah.
You're scared. Like, you're scared the money's gonna go to shit, right? Like, what else? Like, why is it?
It's not targeted enough, oftentimes.
Why do you guys think that? Is that what everyone thinks?
It's super targeted.
I just don't think we quite understand
Well,
where.
it can be, but doesn't mean it's relevant.
I think it's the knowledge.
I think Brian's hitting on something
Like,
like that. Brian,
you
I mean that.
Like,
What's,
you just don't know how to do it.
just don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brian's saying just don't understand
Yeah.
how to do it.
We're giving them hundreds of dollars a week, but we don't know exactly where we're getting all these clicks, and we're not seeing it.
How they gave the client.
And if it doesn't translate into dollars right away, we go, okay, I just spent $500. Where's the?
That lead into an actual sale. I think that's the
Right.
biggest
The
issue.
conversion's
You
qualified.
know,
Does
you
that
gotta
have
get
to
the
do-
right target, get in front of that target, and then once you have a lead, you have to get them to not bounce off your website and convert it to a sale. So there's a lot of steps between just getting in front of the right person and actually making some.
See, I think a lot of people discount the fact that like you can generate a lot of leads off Facebook and like close a lot more if you just pick up the phone and talk to them, and like that's where the big money sales come from, right? I think everyone just kind of, especially in the marketing world, gets obsessed with like, how do I get someone to buy or do something on my website without me even talking to them? Like, fucking the laziest fucking person, you know? I just want to send my newsletter, you know? Like, so it's like, I think Facebook has these ad units called lead ads that you guys should try. I'm just trying to give you some like tactful, like, yeah, lead ads. You guys can also go in there, if you look in the demographics and you break it down, you can find people that make over $150,000, right? Facebook does this really cool thing where they know where you're sitting all the time, so they know where you are. So they look if that, you know, who that home is owned by, right? And they could see if you just bought a home for $450,000, like you're making a 6-figure income probably. So they back into that information. So you guys can target all the way down to like a mom who likes, you know, Taylor Swift, who makes over 150 grand. And it really comes to you being like a purposeful person and like knowing who you interact with on a daily basis. and then backing that into like, what are those people doing on Facebook? And so I think you guys, like a lot of businesses, like the most undervalued skill that I'd say businesses don't do is like learn Facebook. Learn Facebook because like it's coming from a guy that worked at Google. Like I'm telling you, like Google advertising is like nothing compared to Facebook advertising. And like if you guys want to find whoever you want to find, everyone's on Facebook. Every single person in here, Facebook, right? Yes. In 5 years it will be Snapchat. I guarantee it. Everyone who says no, I won't have a Snapchat, you're gonna have a Snapchat. You're gonna have a Snapchat. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's made a huge.
On Snapchat.
You will be.
Talking about the meth.
No. You will have Snapchat.
Because we all have MySpace.
Now.
Yeah, you didn't think you'd have a Facebook.
Right, because we all have MySpace.
Yeah. Everyone thought Twitter was for nerds.
I don't know that.
I still don't have Twitter.
Well, you're just weird.
Snapchat has changed recently.
Yeah.
Very recently.
It's not just.
You still have to do a video of
A
yourself.
lot of businesses are using
Yeah,
it.
I don't do that.
I'm
No.
releasing a video later on this week on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's been like real-time video content. They get more video views per month than Facebook does already.
Per day, 1 billion views a day.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, I have my 17-year-old and 15-year-old. We communicate daily through Snapchat, and I got it just because they go, Facebook, that's for old people like you, Dad.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not for me.
100%.
And they're like, we don't use it, and I was like, so I had to go back in and figure out how
Yeah,
to use
but that's exactly it. Like you're using Facebook, and like who pays the bills? Like you. So right now, like marketing on Facebook is the shit right now. Like you will make so much money. You can. Everyone in this room can make a bunch of money because what it does is like it scales your customers, right? And then you get to do what you're good at, which is like whatever business you chose. Like, but Facebook, I guarantee. I mean, I had a guy that I did consulting for last month. It was a startup that got referred to me. They were doing water control valves, right? And it was to make sure that like they had no leaks, right? And they're like, well, what kind of marketing we do? I'm like, oh, bro, Facebook, right? And we literally targeted people who work at the hotel groups that were director or manager levels and literally created ads just for them, right? And so it's like you can target exactly the people you want to talk to for very, very cheap. You can get in front of 1,000 of them for $10. Wow. $10.
Yeah, Kim.
I think Steve hit on something very important, but didn't elaborate all the way. I think that Facebook can target exactly who you want to hit. Most business owners don't understand who their target audience is. That's the problem. It's not Facebook. It's completely understanding your. As a marketing professional for the past 15 years, most businesses I meet with can't pinpoint who their exact target audience is. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, so feel free. I mean, if you want to get more out of this dinner, I mean, I probably could take 10 minutes with each of you, and let's get 10 new customers next month. Like, that'd be really easy. That's the thing I like to do. I do it with Kim. We do workshops all the time. I just think, like, the more people can make money, the more happy you're going to be. I know that sounds shitty. It's true. Like, your lives are your business. Right? You do business because you can make more money. Like, let's make more money.
Even if it's just to give it away, right? I mean, it's still.
Yeah,
about making money.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, guys,
I was
Sean.
wondering, so is that a part of your business? Like, do you do consulting for pay?
Sometimes. Right now, I just mostly do it for myself because it's easier, right? But I do that sometimes for people, right? And I can mostly do it for free. The only people who pay me to do consulting are people who are too lazy to do it. Because you talk to me, like, I'll tell you. I'm like, this is exactly what you do, right? And I'll lay it out. They're like, wait, that sounds amazing. Can you do it? Right? And so it's like, anybody in this room, like, let me know. You can get my number before. I'll have my assistant schedule time. Thank you, Kim, for finally convincing me to get an assistant. Because I was always late to everything. But like 10 minutes, I promise you, like it will change your life. It has changed mine.
But he's out of the Marietta Innovation Center.
Yes.
You have to come to Marietta.
I will.
Yes, come to Marietta and visit with Steve and me.
So, guys,
I get cards.
I just
I'll give you my number before.
you
Yeah.
guys can stay in touch with him. We'll also add you to our Facebook group, so you'll
Cool.
also be on there as well. And
Heard of Facebook?
Yeah.
and but guys, pretty fun, right? Pretty fun stories and stuff. So, Steve, thanks so much
No
for
problem.
sharing and just being transparent and just kind of letting us see all the stuff and hear it. Really appreciate that. Guys, I would just want to wrap up so that you guys can get a chance to meet him, exchange information. Just realize that there's a lot of people in the room, and he's still got to drive back to Marietta. So try and just be considerate of, you know, if you want to exchange information or talk to him or something like that, it's great. But to not take too much of